Go. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Well, Ryan, welcome back. The Mayor's Monday here, WSAU, WSAU.com. We've survived the rainy weather last week. And ironically enough, of course, water is one of the things we want to talk about with PFAS and everything like that. So I guess we'll just get right to it. Tell us where we're at as far as installing a new filtration system at your plant, just for the sole purpose of handling those forever chemicals.
Absolutely. So the Village of Rothschild, again, we're looking at about a $8.9 million project. The Village of Rothschild has not been awarded that amount of money. However, we've been awarded so far $3.5 million from the state, and we're looking to also go after some federal dollars as well. So every little bit counts in trying to lessen that burden to the taxpayer, being the $8+ million project. So that's the less that we can go and borrow for means the less that we then have to bond for, and then the taxpayers, they don't notice such a change, which is definitely our goal, to not have any crazy increases is the plan.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's obviously something that we've gone through in Wausau this year, in the last couple of years as well, because we want to keep the water rates and everything like that affordable for the residents, because obviously anything that goes up like that is then money that can't be spent elsewhere in their budget.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to promise, water rates likely will continue to rise to cover for these types of upgrades. However, we are trying to be as fiscally responsible as we can. As you know, and as many other communities are aware, these projects are not cheap. And whether it's a PFAS facility or the Rib Mountain Metro Sanitary District, doing the upgrades for that, the Village of Rothschild, I know other municipalities in the area are also looking at increases that utilize RMMSD for their facility for wastewater. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, it's the sad part about it. It's kind of a necessary evil. We need to treat this water as it goes back into our system, and we want to make sure that it is filtered through in the correct way, so that the forever chemicals or PFAS are not in it.
Yeah, and then obviously you're looking at federal dollars for this as well. You said you've already gotten money from the state. What are you looking at going after at the federal level right now?
There are some grants right now through the federal level. We haven't been told a specific dollar amount yet. We may know that, I would hope, in the next few months. And hoping we can kind of conjoin those together to have the best approach towards that $8+ million project.
Mm-hmm. And would you say you're kind of maybe in a fortunate spot with this, because it didn't involve tearing down the treatment plant and rebuilding from scratch? This is simply something that you're looking to add on, so the infrastructure was already in place, you just needed to add on to it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. The water treatment plant, correct, we are building out from that now. We do not have any of the PFAS facility essentially there right now. However, that's what we're building upon to conjoin with our current facility. But you're absolutely correct. We are fortunate that we don't have to do any land acquisition to acquire new parcel or parcels to build this. We are very fortunate in the Village of Rothschild to have that already. It's something we can build on, and that's what we intend to do.
So then remind us again now, what is the situation currently with Rothschild when it comes to PFAS? And I'm guessing with the new facility you're going for non-detect levels of these chemicals, right?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. That is the goal.
And then, so what is the situation right now with PFAS? Do residents still filter the water? Are you still at acceptable levels right now?
We are at acceptable levels. Right now we're hanging right around, give or take a few, but we are right around that 20 parts per trillion. Again, the EPA is regulating it at 70 parts per trillion currently. However, that's what they're looking to change to that, 4 parts per trillion or non-detectable essentially. So a very small amount, non-detectable, where they can test the water and they're not going to find it. Mm-hmm. So that makes it tough, no doubt. It's very expensive, but yes, the Village of Rothschild water is not something that is high on the levels by any means. It's something though that we are trying to regulate so that we fall within the criteria that we are likely going to be fed through the federal system.
And of course, residents always agree to, pick up the filtration pitchers or install the home system as well, if it is something that they're concerned about.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, Village of Rothschild water is not, we're not at that level where it's concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. No drinking water advisory, I think, is the proper term,
Correct.
right?
Yep, everything is totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, again, something that I'm sure in a couple of years we're all going to be glad that we don't have to talk about anymore, right?
Yeah, I would agree, and hopefully, it's certainly our goal to make sure that our drinking water for our residents is safe, and that's something that, yes, we will continue to be cognizant of. And I know our board is always concerned about the residents. We are concerned about the health and safety aspect, and that's something that our board does a phenomenal job on, is keeping the residents in mind.
Absolutely. So as far as other projects in the village go, you're talking about a new recreational trail, and I know that's something that everybody always likes to see come up.
Yeah, so from Lilly up near, when you're on Volkman, near Highway 29, there's going to be an extension to our Business 51 bypass trail. So essentially, that will go from Lilly all the way around the Shopko Plaza on the south side there, and then cross Business 51, and then you will swing around along West Grand Avenue near the water treatment facility, and then continue up on to Court, and then into the city of Schofield. So that Business 51 bypass trail allows the individual or the user to go from the village of Cronewater on the south side, come up through the village of Rothschild, and go into the city of Schofield without actually having to ride on Business 51 for a length.
Yeah, and obviously that's a safety factor, which everybody would love, but I think what everybody always loves about these as well is the fact that they can, maybe train for something. They can get on an extended bike ride and they don't have to worry about putting up with traffic or anything like that. I know in Wisconsin Rapids specifically, you can go some 20 miles in their city without having to cross any sort of major intersection. They've had people training for marathons in the middle of winter down there because they have that access.
Yeah, so that we're hoping that same kind of utilization can be used on this trail as well.
Yeah, and so this is obviously kind of an interjurisdictional project you've had to work with others on. How's that experience been?
Really, really well. We're working with the city of Schofield mainly right now as we connect on the north end of Rothschild and the south end of Schofield. So it's been great. The city of Schofield has been wonderful to work with. And the village of Weston has also been great to work with on projects, and as we'll talk a little bit later, with a joint project with them too, and the village of Cronewater as well.
Yeah, so what are the specifics of this trail going to be then? Is it going to be kind of paved for a multi-use purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be a multi-purpose. You can utilize bikes, walking, roller skating, those sorts of things. It will be paved, so it would be something that the village will maintain for during the winter months, as to the best of our abilities, of course. But yeah, we're excited for the users to have a safe avenue and a route to kind of terrestrial through the village of Rothschild.
And one more then, does this connect to the dog park at all? Is this something that somebody could walk their dog up from a certain area and then along that trail be able to kind of make a pit stop right there and let the dog run free?
You certainly could. So this trail, you could come along Volkman and go south towards Military Road, and then go east right to our new dog park, which is in Gasca Dog Park. So that's a really exciting portion for us, where we have opened the large dog park portion. There'll be two steps or two phases to this project. Phase 1 has been completed, so the large dog park is installed, the fence is up, there's 2 vestibules and entrances for individuals to use. There's been a high rate of users from what we've gathered so far, so we're excited for that. We will be putting a small dog park in as well, and that's hopefully going to be coming in the spring/summer of 2024, and that'll be geared towards that, say, 25-pound and less size of a dog, where the large dog park is really for larger dogs, or if the littler ones wanted to use it,
right,
kind of up to the discretion of the owner.
Exactly. And I know dog park projects like this are kind of always changing, always evolving. You look out at that park in 5 years and it's not going to look the same as it does today. So what kind of changes and upgrades are you hoping you can make to it?
Absolutely, I'm glad you asked. So we are looking to do some lighting upgrades to it, to Gasca. along with getting in water so that dogs have an ability to utilize water there. So we're excited to do those kind of upgrades and make it user-friendly, because dog parks as a whole are something that a lot of individuals, especially during COVID and even after COVID now, have been yearning for.
Yeah, and it's a quality of life project that goes a long way as well in an age when you're not necessarily bringing people here for their jobs. You're bringing people here because they like to work here, and they might be able to work from home on the side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I always love to see that. And of course, dog parks, best part about my job, I will say, going around and doing dog park openings. We did one a couple weeks ago in Rapids, and it was just outstanding.
Sure.
So
Excellent.
absolutely. One more thing, again, before we let you go, you mentioned interjurisdictional project with the Village of Weston. I know this is a traffic project that you've had kind of on the docket since you got here.
Yes.
Just about a year ago, a street project that's going to be between the Village of Rothschild and the Village of Weston as well. Tell us where you are at this planning stage.
Yeah, so actually just this past week, last week, we had a village board meeting where we approved one of the transportation plans. Again, roundabout projects, let me back up a little bit. So Weston Avenue and Alderson, this is where this project is going to take place at that intersection. So it is working with the Village of Weston because you do cross two jurisdictional boundaries right there. We are proposing a mini roundabout, they call it. So school buses can still go through it. It is a mountable roundabout, so it will have the ability for users, if need be, to mount it to safely go through it. But yes, we are working with the Village of Weston on it. It has been a project. Yes, I started in October of 22, and here we are in October of 23, and then it's still working on it. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of planning steps right now. We're working through the land acquisition, just at the early phases of that right now. So it's something that the Village of Rothschild and Weston, we're going to start working on the land acquisition. And what that means is working with landowners that are impacted by the project, trying to make sure that everything is justified, making sure that they're treated fair and equitably as the project unfolds, and trying to get them to understand, how this is helping everybody. And again, it's not necessarily because there's a traffic issue or concern right now. The DOT kind of mapped this intersection as an intersection in the future where they see some traffic issues to take place. And so that's why we're seeing this project kind of happen. It's more of a proactive approach. As DC Everest High School and really school district continues to grow, this is an intersection that is a main thoroughfare and feeder for that school district. So having the ability to move traffic through that area at a efficient rate is critical. There are some high flows of traffic during the morning and afternoon hours, especially, or even when in the evening when sports are wrapping up, or you name it. So having this intersection providing the ability to users to go through it at an efficient rate is critical.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's a more proactive approach. These are the growing pains that come with not only a growing municipality residential-wise, but a growing school district. We're going to have some new features at DC Everest with a new recreational facility.
Yes.
That's going to be for both community and school use. So that's another thing to kind of factor into these counts and decisions when projects like this are being undertaken.
You're absolutely right, and that's, I think, the Village of Weston and the Village of Rothschild, that's what they're looking at. And so, getting individuals on board to understand, I totally understand, where the hesitancy with roundabouts comes from, but that's something, with proper education and trying to make sure that, hey, it might not be the most popular thing that is in this area yet, but there are a lot of roundabouts in a lot of other jurisdictions in the state of Wisconsin as a whole, especially in more metropolitan type areas that are growing, say for like the city of Green Bay and the surrounding suburbs. Roundabouts are becoming very common, and it is a good thing to see that the Village of Rothschild, Weston, these are growing communities, meaning that we are upticking in population, so we got to figure out ways to better bring traffic through an intersection. So you're absolutely right, these are growing pains that villages that are on the up and up are facing, but it's not bad problems per se.
Of course. Yeah, you'd rather have the tax base growing than shrinking. That's for sure. So then, as far as the work on this project goes, you said you're in the process of kind of land acquisition. getting everybody in the neighborhood on board right now. So these are the very early stages. Is there still the possibility that this plan could change? And if not, I guess, when are you hoping to start work?
To answer the second part, the hope to start work would be in the, I would say that summertime of 2024. Late spring, summer, somewhere in there. In terms of getting everybody on board and kind of where we're at for changing wise, there's going to be change orders throughout the project. There'll be tweaks here and there, but to the best of my knowledge and understanding, it looks like yes, a roundabout will likely be placed there.
Yeah, so there's no consideration yet that maybe this traffic could be controlled with just a stoplight or just by adding lanes or anything like that.
There has been, and the DOT did look at that, and the MSA, the engineering firm, has kind of mapped that out. However, the Village of Weston actually is kind of advocating for a roundabout, and the DOT is as well. And MSA are the engineering firm who's behind this. They feel that this is the best way to bring traffic through at the most efficient rate. So,
absolutely. And anybody that's been through the city of New Prague, Minnesota knows that you can indeed go through one end of a community to other sometimes and do nothing but roundabouts and keep flowing like that instead of having to stop and start every few blocks at a red light.
Correct, yeah. And even I would say the Howard Swamico area just outside of Green Bay, they have a large amount of roundabouts. The village of Howard has above 30 roundabouts just in one village. So it is something that has certainly gained some traction, and I think that's kind of the progression that we will see in this area, and not just in the village of Rothschild or Weston. I would say in the city of Schofield, village of Cronenweiler, downtown Wausau, Rib Mountain. These are areas that I think it's not just us. It's going to be plenty of other areas that are going to be experiencing these growing pains, and that's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Indeed. Rather have the tax base growing than shrinking.
Absolutely. Right.
Well, Ryan, we always appreciate the time. We'll look forward to chatting again into the new year, I'm sure, in 2024. It'll be here before we know it.
Yes, it will be. Thank you.